Hey guys, Coach Rob here to present the second week of the Run Day WOD. So today I've come out for a run on the road. I just picked a nice country lane and parked there so I get some decent scenery. So I'm going to go over the technical pointers first. So last week we talked about kind of keeping some space in your hands as if you're holding a bird and not clenching your fists. And then the second thing was to drive your arms straight rather than sort of swinging them across your body. So I want you to try and carry those technical cues from last week into this week. But we're going to add something new as well. We're going to think about our foot strike. So your foot strike is basically where your foot hits the ground on each stride, and we're thinking about which part of your foot, so whether it's the ball of your foot or your heel hitting the ground first, and also where your foot comes into contact with the ground in relation to this sort of center of your mass. Yeah, so if we think about the center of your mass being sort of here in the middle of your core. So what a lot of people do when they run, they think, I want to run faster, so I'm going to reach for a longer stride. And what happens when you reach for a longer stride is often that you sort of reach out in front of you like this, and it means you end up striking with your heel, and it means your heel ends up being in front of your center of mass. Yeah. And this is bad for two reasons. It probably happens because we have these big sort of cushioned heels on our trainers and it doesn't cause us that much grief. But when you put your foot down in front of you and with your heel first, there's a lot of pressure on your hips, on your knees, and also on your sort of tibialis. This is why a lot of people get shin splints as your foot sort of slaps into the ground like this. It's also, because it's in front of your center of mass, it's also sort of like putting the brakes on. If you want to slow down, you sort of put your foot out in front of you. So what I want you to think about today is, as your foot comes down each time, I want it to be under the center of mass. Yeah, so if my center of mass is right here, I'm obviously going to be moving along, but my foot's going to try and come down directly underneath me. So for some of you guys that might mean shortening your stride a little bit, but that can actually be a good thing. We'll talk about cadence in another video, but it might feel like your stride is short, but I feel like this is going to be more efficient for most people. So also when that happens is, now that you're putting your foot down underneath you, you're going to strike with sort of the ball of your foot or your midfoot rather than your heel. Okay, so those are the things I want you to think about today: where your foot's coming down and what part is contacting the ground first. Right. So today's session, guys, all you need to do it is a stopwatch. Part one, you're going to be doing an easy jog for 15 minutes. Yeah, so just away from home or away from wherever you've parked the car, you're just going to jog easy. While you're doing that, there's one drill you're going to do. So when we do warm-ups, people are often familiar with this sort of high knees drill, and also this drill I call a butt whacker. And what we're going to do today is just a combination of the two things. So we're trying to get high knees, but we're also trying to pull our heel up to our bum at the same time, okay? So you can do this while you're jogging along, and it's just going to look like this. Okay, so you're jogging easy for 15 minutes, and maybe like once a minute you just throw in 10 reps of that high knees, heels to bum combination drill. Once your 15-minute timer goes off, you're going to go into a walk for 2 minutes, still moving away from your start point. And then you're going to do 3 sort of pickups or fast runs. Yeah, you're going to do 40 strides at a fast pace. So you don't have to do a sprint start. You can sort of build yourself up to that speed over sort of 5 or 10 strides, then count 40 fast strides, and then decelerate over another 5 or 10 strides. Once you've done your 40 fast strides, you rest for 40 seconds, and we repeat that 2 more times. So we've done 3 sets of 40 fast strides. Now the pace, guys, should be faster than your 5K pace, but slower than your 200-meter sprinting pace. So it's not a flat-out sprint. It's just to get some speed in your legs. Maybe you're moving about your 400 or your 800-meter running pace. Okay, once you've finished the 3 sprint pickups, you're going to do another 2 minutes of walking away from the start point, and then that will let your heart rate come down, and then you're going to turn around and run back to the start as fast as possible. Okay, when you get back to the start, have a little 3-minute rest, and then finish with a 5-minute cool down jog.